Good afternoon, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and I bring you guys the Golden Pride Archetype effects. So, if you don't remember, I kind of went over these guys a couple days ago. We only had the artwork for most of them. The only one we had was Leon. This is probably my third or fourth video on these guys, but we finally have the effects for the first wave of support. So, let's just go straight into this. So, right off the bat, this whole deck is based off Synchro Summoning and Link Summoning. And the whole gimmick of the deck is Synchro Summoning on your opponent's turn and kind of OTKing your opponent. And also having less life points than your opponent, which automatically screams punk to me. But let's just go straight into this. So first things first, we have Leon here. We've already went over him before, but let's go over him again. He's a Warrior Tuner Effect Monster, level 3. If your life points are lower than your opponent, special summon this card from your hand. Straight up, just a straight extender. If your life points are lower, to summon him means any punk effect, which is great. Then when this card is normal special summon, target one non-warrior gold pride monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense position. Also, you can't special summon for the rest of the turn except gold pride monsters, which is fine, because we can just synchro summon on our opponent's turn into any synchro, which is awesome. And then during your opponent's main phase, quick effect, immediately after this card resolves, synchro summon one synchro monster using only gold pride monsters you control. But that doesn't matter because, again, these guys are just free extenders that we could draw into in our punk combo, leave them on the board, and then quick synchro into anything on our opponent's turn. These cards are insane. And the fact that we can just quick synchro into like a Baron, or well, not really a Baron because their levels don't line up, but like a Boral Sword or anything. It just kind of insane. It's like, again, Punisher. There's a whole bunch of synchros you can go into. But this guy is just the start. Already knew he was pretty solid, but we now got to see what the rest of the archetype does. So let's just go straight into the next card, which, look at it here. We have a new level 4 monster now. So this level 4 monster is also really cool. So basically, its whole gimmick is that if your life points are lower, all the main mech monsters say that, you just special summon them onto the field. Meaning we don't have to waste our normal summon on them. Meaning we can just play these as extenders in Punk, which is insane. Yeah, and this card doesn't even unlock you too, which is insane. So this card just says if your life points are lower, special summon this card. If this card is normal or special summon, add one Golden Pride trap from your deck to hand. And if this card is sent to grave, which means use a synchro material or uses any material, target one Gold Pride monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck. Banish 3 Gold Pride monsters in your graveyard. If you do, that card gains 500 attack for each banished card. So it's helping you push for game. It basically says, hey, banish 3, make it gain 1500 attack. Boom. That part doesn't matter. The only part that matters about this card is that it is a level 3. I said level 4 earlier. My apologies. It's a level 3 that basically is not a tuner, which is great because all the punks are tuners already. So it's great that we have a non-tuner. And it just says, hey, on summon, add a trap card. That's so fucking good. I hope the trap's great. Let's just keep going. Alright, so now it's time to go over the new Gold Pride monster, Gold Pride Nitro Head. Now, this is the last monster we have confirmed from the main deck. This card is pretty solid. It's a level 8, which is great for the punks because 8 plus level 3 equals 11, which all the punks are those levels. So, pretty solid extender there. If your life points are lower, just special summon this card. Even if we're not using the synchro effects, even if we're just using them as extenders, this thing's just a free level 8 to special summon itself, which is insane. And then during the standby phase, you can special summon one Nitro Fire type token to your opponent's field, which is great because it can't be used as link material. Which, against Kashakri-Law, which is going to be a meta deck coming out this set, you can just give them a token during the standby phase, and then bam, they cannot no longer just basically use that zone. Well, they can't summon their Kashakri-Laws because they need no monsters on the field. You just give them a useless ass token. They can't use it. Really, really powerful card. And it also has a quick effect. You can target one Nitro's token on the field, destroy it, and then destroy all of the cards in the adjacent monster zones. Basically saying, hey, blow up the token as like a bomb. And then everything next to adjacent to the bomb gets exploded too. That's actually kind of slick. And the fact that it's quick effect means you basically just block out their zones, which is actually a really cool effect. And I love it for this card. I think it's a 2300 and 2600 defense. Nothing about this card locks you from having to play this in any other archetype. As long as your life points are lower, you can just summon this thing for free. Meaning in punks, even if you don't play any of your punks, you can just summon this thing, give your opponent a token, and then quick effect, pop your opponent field. Insanely insane. Super amazing card, and great 3 main deck monsters. Alright, so now it's time to go over the new Golden Pride, The Crowd Goes Wild. Now this is our only spell card in the deck. We only have one spell card and one trap card for this entire archetype. We also only have one Synchro and a Link monster, surprising enough. But that's fine. This card is actually pretty solid. So we reveal one Gold Pride monster in your hand. Add one Gold Pride monster with a different name from your deck to hand. Then you can apply the following effects. Special summon one Gold Pride monster from your hand, but lose life points equal to its original attack. You only activate one Gold Pride. Crowd Goes Wild once per turn. This card is a maybe play in the Punk version, just because it just searches any Punk, not any Punk, any of the other monsters. So if you have one, this gets you another one, which is pretty solid. Not to mention, it is kind of like E-Telly from hand, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of E-Telly, but differently. So you search one, then summon, which is pretty solid. So I really like it. Really cool card in general. And I definitely think it's definitely 3 of in pure archetype. I don't know how much we're playing in Punk. Still a solid card in general. It's just a free body on the field, which is always great and always spectacular. Next card we have, which is the card I'm really excited for, is the Trap card. This Trap card is solid as hell. So this card is really cool. So basically what it does is that if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, target one of those monsters, reveal 3 Gold Pride monsters in your deck. Your opponent randomly chooses one and then special summon it onto your field. Shuffle the rest of the deck and then blow up that card. So basically, no matter what, you get 3 bodies. You get one of the bodies on the field. You pop a card, and you just get, like, this is a +1. This card's insane. It's not once per turn. Meaning, you just go, okay, reveal 3 different names. They choose this one. Cool. I get the one that either quick synchros on my opponent's turn, either gives your opponent a Nitro token and it blows it up, or I get the monster that on summon searches, the Trap card, which is solid. All 3 are solid cards. And the fact that it just pops the card is a really good one of. I think this card is really good, plus with the other Punk traps, it's really solid. And overall, a good card in general. Alright, so now it's time to talk about the Synchro monster. Now, this Synchro monster isn't the greatest, but it isn't bad either. So it's a level 6 Synchro, 2000 attack, 2000 defense. Thunder's Synchro monster, really interesting, light. And basically requires 1 tuner, puts non-1 tuner. During the main phase, quick effect, target one monster your opponent controls. This card gains attack equal to that target's original attack. So basically it says, hey, you summon this during your going a second. It gains the attack, helps you push for game. Solid board clear here. And then if your life points are lower than your opponent, you can destroy that monster. So basically this says gain the attack, then destroy it, which is solid. And then it also has an effect where once a turn during the end phase, if the previous effect was activated this turn, return this card to the extra deck and you do special summon one Gold Pride monster from your, which is pretty solid. It's just a pretty good extender. It just says, hey, I'm going to go back to the extra deck. Let's summon out another Gold Pride. Let's do our thing, which is pretty solid indeed. And now, I wish it did a little bit more, honestly. It's not a bad card, but I wish it just, like, negate. Like, that'd be so amazing if it was just a negate on your opponent's turn, and then it just pops a card on your turn. That'd be such a cool mechanic. But now it's time to go over a Link monster, which I never thought we would get. Alright, so now this is Gold Pride Nitro Blaster. Now this card is interesting as hell. So basically it says 2 Gold Pride monsters at different levels. And then basically it says target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Then if your life points are lower than your opponent, destroy all cards in the adjacent monster zone, spells and traps. That's kind of insane. And then if this was used, the effect once per turn, during the end phase, if this card was activated, return this card to the extra deck if you do special summon one Gold Pride Nitro Head from your deck to grave. Basically saying, hey, let's get back the level 8 guy, allowing you to keep going from there, which is pretty solid indeed. Anyhow, that's really it for the Gold Pride archetype as of now. I think it's really cool extenders and Punk. I can't wait to see how people experiment with these cards. But overall, it's just like the 4th wave of Punk support, honestly. Like, I don't think by itself it's good enough to stay as an archetype. But with Punk, I definitely see it has potential to stay and be a really powerful deck to bring that deck back into the meta.